That's WBAL-TV Channel 11, Baltimore. It's 6 o'clock.
From Television Hill,
This is WBAL-TV 11. Next, Ron Daniels, Donald Hamilton, Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Telsmeyer, and the Forecast Center, and Fox Sports with Jerry Sandusky. Good evening, everybody. On this October 14th, 1994, on Friday, here's what's happening on the WBAL-11 news on this Friday afternoon here. Going on Friday evening. For area watermen, Maryland's oyster harvest season began yesterday's quench like last year's with catches below the daily limit. Yet, despite the poor catches, there were some calls for optimism about the future of oystering. While a non-profit group in Annapolis is pursuing plans to revitalize a nearly extinct industry, the president of the local Watermen's Association said that he believes all oysters will come back on their own. Robert H. Evans, president of the Anne Arundel County Watermen's Association, said that several of their oyster boats came in with between 7 and 11 bushels for the day. Each bushel brought watermen between $16 and $20, a similar price to the last season. Mr. Evans said it was a good price. He said oystermen can keep 15 bushels a person or 30 bushels a boat. Bill Offen, a state's Tidewater Administration, said oyster harvest administration said oyster harvest since the mid-80s have dropped from about 1.5 million bushels to around 76,000 bushels last season. Officials expect this year's catch to be roughly the same, with a dockside value of about $1 million, he said. We don't see any encouraging signs that make us think that this year will be any better than last year. Mr. Ouden said the season lasts for much. There are plenty of small oysters and local watermen trout that will be grown to legal size. Mr. Evans said, but they didn't because of all the fresh water we had this year. Yet watermen believe that above average rainfall held back the spread of diseases and MSX and dermal that have ravaged Maryland's oyster population in recent years, he said. Meanwhile, Joyce Williams, communications director of the Oyster Recovery Partnership, said that the nonprofit group plans to coordinate the testing of 2 oyster cultivation techniques. The partnership was formed to implement a statewide plan for revitalizing the oyster population for its economic activities and ecological benefits. One technique will be incorporated some aspects of Connecticut's successful methods of spreading clean shells of culture to the bottom to catch newly spawned oysters. There. The second technique involves a planted hatchery that produces oysters in areas of the Chester and Chappaquiddick rivers and using agriculture techniques to maintain them. Staff members from the partnership would also work with waterfront landowners and group owns projects that create rehabilitate the private oyster bars, according to the group literature. Dennis Walsh, a consultant with the partnership who has named the executive director in July, has resigned for personal reasons, but that should not affect the group's long-term plans, she said. Mr. Evans said he understands that they need to try to bring the oyster population back, but already seems positive signs for the population. The water is clearing up, the grasses are coming back, he said.
He'll join us for post-game coverage tomorrow at 11.
Spurred by the cheating scandal at the Naval Academy, a congressman has drafted legislation that could result in a revision of honor codes at the three major service academies. Start looking at Wabade underwood, the Democrat woman member of the House of Services Committee, presented a bill that is last month would be a commission to study and possibly rewrite honor codes at the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, and the United States Military Academy. Take out from as a report. The 102nd Congress shelved the bill in the warning days of its continuous session, but Mr. Edwards said he would be renewed when the next Congress convenes in January. The bill calls for a group of active duty military officers, service academy graduates, and national educators to study the 3 honor concepts and see whatever they should be standardized in one uniform code. The Naval Academy's 16-month cheating scandal and an incident last year, which 3 mids ran out of the lunch hall in an Annapolis restaurant, was a catalyst for the legislation, Mr. Edwards said. The recent honor violations at the Naval Academy point out how the avoidance of the honor codes might contribute to the different standards of enforcement, Mr. Edwards said in a speech in the House last month. Dick Gelfman for the WBAL-11 News. More than 30 speakers pressed state
We have a crew out on the
highway administration engineers last night to protect the greater good as they mull a truck ban on the 24 food Crefton. But the greater good held different meetings for residents, visitors from nearby communities, and people connected with the trucking industry. This is truly a discussion between province industry and the safety of our children, said Paul McMurray, and an economist who lives in Crefton. Not all other setups as my living, said Leo Curtis, who drives for Shaney Enterprises. He said that the overhauls are diligent and safe and courteous under the new rule. Route 424 between Route 3 and Route 50 plus Route 450 through Clifton will be declared audit bonds for trucks over 26,000 pounds that are not making local deliveries on Route 3 and 50 would become the alternate route, creating a 5.5-minute detour. Empty dump trucks and beverage delivery trucks weigh about 25,000 pounds and are steady state engineers determined that 17% of the trucks on Route 424 to 21 in a 12-hour period are from out of state and they use the road on a shortcut. Since 1968, trucks heavier than 10,000 pounds that have been allowed on Route 424 between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. on Monday, Friday, Saturday, and all day Sunday. Last night, most Clifton residents said they supported full ban, so did elected officials and candidates on the November ballot. The trucking industry made a show of the strength opposition while suggesting a ban would not hold it up in court. And residents at Davisville and Gambrels are worried that the rules change would divert more trucks into the communities. The alternate route, that is, said Molly McAdams, president of the Davisville-11 Elementary PTA. Imagine what it's going to be like when 40 children on a school bus get killed. About 200 people attended a 2.5-hour format Clifton Middle School. What in the comments will be accepted for an never-mind decision shouldn't.
Study done to determine how to improve
Delegate Theodore J. Supplice, the Democratic Mr. Nominee for County Executive, blustered his opponent last night for his friendship with an indicted lobbyist. I don't think you should be fed that the lobbyist fat Mr. Supplice told Republican Delegate John J. Gary at a debate sponsored by the Annual Trade Council. But Mr. Gary retaliated against Mr. Supplice for running up $1,144 in General Assembly expenses, including mileage from his Lincoln home to Annapolis. Does your employee charge for coming to work? Mr. Gary asked the audience at an adult community college. Then things get personal. The candidates attacked each other about personal finances and even their spouses in a televised debate before. The 150 people for the largest audience so far in an increasingly nasty campaign. The fireworks began after the questions about regional transportation plans and environmental mandates. Candidates took advantage of a free-for-all section to grill each other.
Some who were there that day.
A 6-year-old Annapolis man with 7 drunken driving convictions since 1992 was convicted Wednesday for the 8th time in his sentence. 30 days in jail. District Judge Joseph P. Menick also ordered Paul F. Lunter, 60 of 1601 Bray Avenue, to serve 9 months under house arrest and finding him guilty of driving while intoxicated.
Was down around 30 somewhat.
Although the judge acknowledged concerns about Mr. Lunter's poor health, said that punishment was due. My responsibility is not only to you, but to the people of Annandale County to protect and also send a message out to Judge Menick, told Mr. Lunter. Mr. Lunter was convicted after a bizarre accident in the morning of March 8th in the Green Acres neighborhood of Annapolis. Returned home from an errand, he picked up a truck and drove away. He went inside and began drinking. When Mr. Lunter decided to put his truck into the garage, he got into the truck and put it in the gear, but the truck jumped forward and knocked down his garage door.
Some streets, including Summer and Elm.
When he put it in reverse, the truck went crashing backward, fought 4 neighbors' backyards. Along with him, he told police police measured his blood alcohol level at 15% while about the 10% for driving while intoxicated. Mr. Hunter's later Marine of Annapolis argued with his client. Doctor said a jail term might be fatal to his client who suffers from a serious heart condition and is an avid alcoholic. And Mr. Lunter, who formerly managed a hardware stores in the Annapolis area, said he was sober for 2 years, but when started drinking again in early this year after a heart operation. A widower, Mr. Lunter, said he's lost all of his immediate family in recent years. Now he lives alone. I can't afford to drink because if I do, I might gonna die. I might be 60 years old, but I'm not ready to rack it up, he said. The judge sentenced Mr. Lunter to a 2-year jail term and but suspended 12 months in face as fine as much as $3,000 and 3 years in jail. Mr. Lunter served 90 days at the detention center, then go home for house arrest. He will be monitored daily by a television camera and have to show that he's sober several times a day in process. It'll pay for that. Also,
They feel it should never happen again. First, the new building codes, which includes
Colonial Beach, Virginia, an infection is causing reddish sores on some Chesapeake Bay rockfish is not expected to diminish a rapid recovery of federally protected species of endangered human health, officials said. This is not to be unexpected in the resurrection, said Eric May, who handles a fish health and disease program for the Maryland Health and Maryland Department of Natural Resources, on the regulations that have severely limited fish and rockfish numbers in the Bay have climbed 25% annually for the past 4 years. Our government species that has greatly expanded on the population very often and fought some sort of pathogen disease spontaneously. Miss scientists found in the infection it was weak that the bacterium Erythritol said it was known infect fish raised in commercial agriculture. Proposals in Pennsylvania and Virginia increase restrictions on toxic pollutants are raising concerns among environmentalists that the multi-state effort to clean up the Chesapeake Bay is being weakened. If you look behind the scenes, they're trying to weaken what they're doing now, said Barbara Kuzer, an environmental scientist in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania office of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Officials from Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania and the District of Columbia and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency were to meet today in Southern Maryland to adopt a new strategy for reducing toxic pollution and the other measures to clean up the bay. Pennsylvania and Virginia officials say relaxing the regulation would not hurt the bay, but will simply remove unnecessary regulation. Pennsylvania officials note that Maryland has made similar changes. The Bay Foundation said earlier this week that the officials involved in the effort to backfill and under 1987 pledged to work with the toxic-free bay. In Virginia, the state Water Control Board is considering whether to lift the ban on the use of chlorine to disinfect waterway and wastewater discharges use natural trout streams and other waterways where they threaten endangered plants and animal life. Municipalities have complained about the cost of chlorine alternatives such as ozone or ultraviolet light. Sewage treatment plants would still have to remove all but traces of the chlorine, said Gene Gregory of Virginia's Department of Environmental Quality Crisis of Earth. Field malfunction could kill chlorine-sensitive trout and other rare species. In Pennsylvania, the state's Department of Environmental Regulation has considered changing the limits on the discharges of toxic metals into streams and rivers. The Pennsylvania League of Cities represented the municipal operations of sewage treatment plants has proposed relaxing regulations.
Like coming home for Prince Spaghetti Day.
In Baltimore, a federal jury in Baltimore has found 2 men guilty of smuggling illegal Chinese aliens into the United States and holding them hostage in Maryland and New York. Chung Chao Chen, 23, and Chung Hang Chen, 27, were convicted yesterday of kidnapping, hostage taking, and hate. Bringing aliens, among other charges, for smuggling up to 106 Chinese illegal aliens in the United States and holding them hostage in 2 Prince George's County residents and a home in Queens, New York. 3 other defendants, Lo Zhao Jing, Chung Li Chen, and Zai Lin Chen, has been previously pleaded guilty to the charges. Lo Chang testified against the former colleagues, members of the smuggling gang, brought the aliens to the United States by boat in March and then confined them into 2 houses in the Upper Marlboro, Mitchellville, 15 miles from the downtown Washington, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew Norman. 63 of the hostages was held in the Mitchellville house where they'd been routinely beaten, held captive, and gunpoint and coerced into phony relatives that the Chinese sent them to ransom money. Mr. Norman has said the men threatened to torture and kill the hostages they relatives didn't send the money. The hostages were held captive for 15 days before relatives contacted the FBI. The defendants were arrested on April 5th following a raid on the Mitchellville home by FBI and immigration officials. Mr. Norman said the smugglers charged each hostage $20,000 and $20,000 to come to the United States and then demanded more than $30,000 when they arrived. 45 hostages were able to raise them ransom money were driven by smugglers to a house in Queens, New York, where they were released in a community, Mr. Norman said. 5 of the smugglers have been arrested up in New York in a raid trial for their participation in the operation. Woodlawn, the blood-stained car of a missing Baltimore County 911 operator was found in a motel parking lot, police said. A Ramada in maintenance man found Linda Mae Lester's car about 6 p.m. yesterday. The 31-year-old woman has been missing since Tuesday night. There was some blood in the truck lid and some of the rear bumper and a slight amount at the driver's side door, leading us to believe that there was a foul play and possibly a homicide here, said police spokesman Jay Miller. Police believe that the car may have been backed into the space and concealed the rear license plate because the front license plate had been removed and was found in the truck. Mrs. Lester of Owens Mills was supposed to be picking up her 2-year-old daughter after work Tuesday from her estranged husband in Rendlesville town, but never arrived. Baltimore union representatives and executives of Acme supermarkets met here yesterday in the last-ditch effort to avoid a strike by Acme employees that could start tomorrow. Leaders of the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union Local 27, which represents 13 to 1,200 employees from 17 Acme stores on the Maryland's Eastern Shores and in Hartford, Cecil, and Baltimore counties. In all meetings with Acme officials on Tuesday in Perryville and Dover, Delaware. But Acme officials voted a 79% margin to reject the company out. Often hammered out at a meeting and voted by a 80% margin to strike. A 2/3 margin was needed to authorize a strike. The union wants the new contract and changes in wages, benefits, breaks, and working conditions. Acme is based in Malvern, Pennsylvania. Palmer Park. 7 Prince George's County residents are facing drug charges for the alleged pardon and pumping more than $10 million worth of cocaine into the Washington metropolitan area. The 7 arrested Washington Wednesday were suspected members of the so-called Kelly organization led by Edward Kenneth Kelly, 29 Mitchellville, and linked to the South American Kelly drug cartel. Local and federal authorities said at a press conference yesterday. We are confident that the Kelly organization able to operate has been destroyed, said Prince George's County Police Chief David Mitchell. The breakup of the organization was the last phase of the 2-year cooperative investigation by U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agents and local law enforcement agencies of Operation Foxhunt. Agents and officers arrested 4 men and 3 women Wednesday and seized a catch of drug, weapons, cash, and cars from 8 residents and 2 businesses. Those arrested and charged with conspiracy to distribute cocaine were Thomas B. Smith, 28, and Paul M. McKelly, 28 both of Sutherland, and Edward Kelly, Von Eugene Miles, 25 of Bowie, and Stephanie Kellogg, 29 of Greenbelt, and Kim M. Cook, 23 of Forestville. Colleen J. Williams, 31 of Capitol Heights, was charged with possession of distributed cocaine. International news: the United States described a plan to counter any future Iraqi military threats to Kuwait to increase the American military presence in the Persian Gulf. Additional warplanes and division worth of tanks and armor will be deployed even if Iraqi troops are withdrawn from the border in Kuwait.
Photos and details from behind.
Iraq said it would favor a Russian proposal under which would be recognized in Kuwait in return for the lifting of some economic sanctions within 6 months. Hours after forcing Haiti's military leaders in exile, the White House announced rewards for them, including safe passage for the family members of the United States and access to at least $79 million in enforcement bank accounts. Partisan gunmen in Northern Ireland responded to the 6-week-old ceasefire by declaring their own truce. Swiss investigators said they led and divided a cult spiritual leader. Luke Dredd, among 48 victims, found last weekend in 2 villages. The discovery reinforced the initial impression that he may have been organized a collective suicide. The government in Germany is willing to spend whatever it takes to assure that the economic transformation in the eastern region succeeds, but success still seems far away, and many Easterners are angry. The United States joined Israel and put in pressure on the PLO chairman to assure that the kidnapped Israeli soldiers is delivered safely from Islamic radicals. Expensive negative television ads for times on a stable election campaigns in California, and never has been that staple been more evident than this year. Who is the longest of the long shots in this fall's campaign? Maybe Carol Schwartz, the Republican nominee, opposing Mayor Berry Jr. for the mayor of Washington. At the time when the national homicide rate is holding steady, unless men are being killed in sharply rising numbers. Questionnaires completed by the prospective jurors in the O.J. Simpson murder case offer an intriguing, far not extended entirely convincing whisper of the Fox Populi. The Board of the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, which only 2 months ago dismissed the organization's accusations. Our executive director for questionable use of its money is now covered by accusations that the chairman improperly used his position for personal gain. And study found that bacteria come into breast milk and yogurt can greatly reduce the risk of infant diarrhea. The finding indicates that such good germs can be added to foods that attack the worldwide health problems. Okay, now whatever, Tom Tasselmeyer. Take away, Tom. Okay, thank you, Rod. And Tom, right now, 63 degrees of Peterborough, 62 in Martin, 62 in Wilmington, Delaware, 61 in Dover, 60 in Salisbury, 59 in Andrews Air Force Base, 62 in Washington National and DC, 64 in Dallas, 64 in Winchester, West Virginia, 64 in Hagerstown, Maryland.
If there's enough sun, well, inland, there's that falling apart front. But there is an area of rain in the south.
Okay. Weather-wise on the nation today. Strong storm that is now over the Rockies, plus showery rains and mountain snows from the Cascades and the Sierra eastward to Wyoming and Montana, as thunders as well in both parts of Texas, while showers fan out across the eastern plains. Rain will slowly move away from the North Carolina and Virginia coastlines. So for our forecast for Baltimore, Minneapolis, Mississippi, go like this. For tonight, mostly clouds skies low in the 50s. Northeast wind about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, some morning clouds and mostly sunny skies high in the mid 60s. Northeast wind about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Ocean resorts tonight, mostly clouds low in the mid upper 40s. North wind about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow, some morning clouds and mostly sunny skies high in the mid upper 60s. North wind about 10 to 15 knots to 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chesapeake Bay tonight. Northeast winds 15-20 knots. Average waves about 2 feet tomorrow. Northeast winds about 20 knots. Average waves 3 feet. Long range outlook Sunday mostly sunny skies highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. And Monday and Tuesday mostly sunny skies highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. Sunrise tomorrow 7:06 a.m. Sunset tomorrow about 6:20 p.m. And that's me where I'm Tom Tasselmeyer here now. Jerry Sandusky with the sports. Take away, Jerry. Why, thank you, Mr. Tasselmeyer. Navy has joined many of the major college basketball powers and started its official practice sessions at a midnight madness. So it's definitely there will be about 20,000 fans tonight. As there will be at the University of Kentucky, even 10,000 as they're expected at the University of Maryland. But the fans who turn out tonight at Housley Fieldhouse, where some of the Navy's greatest basketball moments occurred during the middle. And we'll get a heck of a show before I get into the state. The players will be charged with defending the Patriot League Championship won a year ago. About a surprise of midshipman. I'm here to go in, said Navy's third-year coach Don DeVoe, who started Alexei Loki until the start of practice season is close. By now, I can't wait to get out the basketball sneakers and my whistle and see what we can do. The coach, who has yet to see his team practice, have been moved by reports from the strength coach that almost every player is stronger and quicker than the last 3 years at this time. Navy has dubbed tonight's event, in which a public audience invited Sleepless Still Seattle. Clearly fought rather than basically eliminating every team's goal with its skin in its 1985 Final Four at the Kingdom. The midshipmen will make the first appearance as a team as the clock strikes midnight. The mids feature virtually entire cast from the last year's 17-13 team that won the Patriot League regular season and postseason tournament titles. During the trip to the NCAA tournament, they also have some promising.
They're good. It's a deep lineup.
24 years ago, Lefty Drizzle came up with another way of getting the team ready for the college basketball season. Now it's named TV deal and solid place among the sports traditions. Midnight Madness will be celebrated tonight by students and fans who will gather to eat, compete, and cheer like crazy because practice officially gets underway. Drizzle was about to start his second season at Maryland, and he wasn't all that thrilled with his 13-30 record in 1989. He decided his team needed an advantage that would be provided by about 15 hours. The idea was to get an edge started early. Drizzle said of his decision to start practice at a time when gyms are usually dark and quiet. All that NCAA was practice started on October 15th. So I told them, and the reason we started on 1 minute after midnight and everybody else was sleeping and they wouldn't help us kick their butts. There's no sweeping frenzy about the idea. Drizzle, who starts his season at James Madison with 6-4-1 career wins.
It's amazing, man.
So the practice was originally just involved in a team running a mile. In subsequent years, the team started scrimmaging and the stands started to fill up. I've been filled in a lot of places since then. At 12:01 a.m. tonight, there will be more than 100 Division I schools providing a chance for the late starting pep rallies, which features bands, cheerleaders, mascots, breaking and latest routines for the second year in a row. ESPN will visit free for the Cincinnati and St. John during a live special.
Against the Yankees in games 3 and 4 of that 2004.
Lafayette college football team has yet to win a game, but they are looking forward to the sleeping up from Division 1AA to face 1A Navy. While there is always excitement for 1AA teams when they meet 1A opponent, tomorrow's game is even more divided than visitors because it's a 1A team. Lafayette will play and also winless. The Navy Lafayette team is also up to 0-5 teams. Lafayette coach Bill Wilson is trying to make a team, and the team doesn't stand any chance against a 1A midshipman. He is to put in Navy coach George Chapman in that regard. 1A and Navy we're looking at in 2 different levels of competition. Sedgwick's a 14-year veteran coach. The 2 people in Navy are also a good, a strong division 1A team to the intensity of Navy does play within in every game. Way up to see on the film is tremendous. Obviously, Navy has been out of man at times. We know it has fouls, but not at a different level. We also added obviously Navy's talent level compared to our talent level is a different ball game. Obviously, has known that Lafayette has had trouble similar to the endings and the mids that endured. Champ and I listen to that kind of talk.
Boston Bruins hockey. And the Bruins are down 1-0 in this game, and Louis Erickson scored the other day against
College Park, 12 days was only 9-0 for
1-1 game with the Red.
Maryland coach Buck Duffner decided which quarterback to start tomorrow's game against 15th-ranked North Carolina. The Terrapins haven't played since a 13-0 loss of Clemson all for since that time. Both Scott Milonovich and Kevin Foley have alternated week.
Right here in Comerica Park. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock.
Begin with the first team during practice. The competition always apparently neck to neck because Duffner said yesterday he would be at least one more day before naming the starting quarterback for tomorrow's game. Robin started 11 games last season and will be the first 3 games this year, but all 3 struggling in that opening stages of Maryland's game against West Virginia. Milonovich was blazed by a Foley winning pass for 27 yards and for the Terrapins 24-17 upset.
What you do behind closed doors usually stays behind closed doors. Until now, we're pulling.
In New York, in an effort to revive the between baseball players and owners, President Clinton is proposing former Labor Secretary W.J. Usry to mandate a dispute. Usry was mandated during the 1974 NFL strike. Labor Secretary in the Ford administration and headed the Federal Mediation and Consolation Service under President Nixon and Ford. He was effectively introduced to the White House by Labor Secretary Robert Reich. Government and baseball sources said yesterday, I have no comment, and I had heard that women, the 70-year-old Usry said last night from his home in Arlington, Virginia, when football players struck for 44 days before the 1974 NFL season. Usry meditated and helped settle the dispute before the season began. He helped end the 6-month coal miners strike last year. I hope something happens to bring us to the table next week, said Boston Red Sox Chief Executive Officer John Harrington. Said he heard no women who meditated would enter the talk. Acting on Commissioner Bud Selig and Union Head Donald Fair's Client Committee baseball source said Shields was via an announcement at a Washington Fair was ensured that he would attend, another source said. Tuesday spent Thursday in Moline, Illinois, the contract talks between Deere and Company and the United Auto Workers who have been worked without an agreement for Wiggins no down to a long negotiation session up to 44 hours.
2 weeks to 3 weeks to live. Once Peter got
Bulls invite coach Phil Reagan from the Cleveland Indians for a second interview, and Northeast High coach Terry Lentz has brain tumor.
I'm gonna deny this woman her right to live. I thank him every day of my life. He was there for me.
Car companies like to talk about
Ashburn, Virginia Redskin tackle Trey Johnson is a big man with a big shoes available this Sunday.
vehicles on the road.
He's a 6'2",
Iconic and powerful.
350-pound rookie is ever to make his first NFL start in replacing injured left tackle
Groundbreaking.
Jim Latchef against part of the Rams' hard blitzing Cardinals defense. There's a friendly formal offensive morning for anybody wherever you are. Rigging that chances that it's definitely one interesting defense, especially when Buddy Rand was very when it was they do want to bring a lot of people to pressure. Last 10-year veteran 3-time Pro Bowl sprained his right ankle Sunday along the right knee. The Redskins can't afford to lose him. He is still the team's best offensive lineman to try and miss all 93 seasons with a 6 games 92 season with a torn ligament in his right knee. Offensive line coach Jim Hanahan was head coach of the Cardinals from 80 to 85. Said luck he probably wouldn't not practice at a doubtful that he would be ready to play Sunday. The left tackle position for switch for Charles would normally backs up at the right tackle, but is a key offensive spot anchoring the offensive line to protect the blind side is right-handed quick quarterback Keith Schuler.
At Southern New Hampshire University,
Hanahan said a rookie first start against the Buddy Ryan defense is motivated to kind of happens by fire, but Johnson's testing after the week. See what happens.
online education, building on the promise we made.
Paradise Creek is 2-5 favorite for the International Laurel on Saturday at Laurel Park. Here,
Nonprofit university, we have just one focus: you.
St. Louis Los Angeles Rams
Yourself succeed at TV.
were listed to be proposed at hiring the team St. Louis.
Genuine Sealy mattresses, any size, one look.
And NHL executive Brian Burke said immediately that league management hasn't told us anything about the labor story. He hasn't changed the plans in St. Louis. And that's me for the WBAL-11 News, the 6 p.m. one on this Friday, October 14, 1994 on a Friday. I am Rod Daniels on alongside Donna Hamilton and Tom Telsmeyer and Jason Dexter. Have a good evening. Come next to the CBS Evening News with Dan Weber. We'll be back for the WBAL-11 News at 11 o'clock. Have a good evening.
Boston strong.